Hello and welcome to another late night update about Ethereum. A bit late, but crypto never sleeps. So let's do another quick one after ETH made new lows today. That was in this case also expected based on this wave count we talked about earlier today. Yeah, that we were here still in expecting another wave 5, and I showed you this sort of descending wedge pattern in the previous video. And at least suggested we could come down here to the support, the trend line, bounce off that and might break to the upside after another low. Maybe, I can't tell you if we're going to break out now. This needs to be observed, but it certainly is something interesting to keep watching. Yeah. In my opinion, a move to the upside from here, let's say a small bounce is reasonably likely in a wave 4. So we have reached basically a target zone for a wave 3 here. I can't rule out that this is going to continue. We could get an extended wave 5, for example, and we could get sort of into the region here. We have here the support level, that previous support could now act, for example, as support as well here around 1360. I think this one here became meaningless, this one as well. But here around 1360, I could imagine we come down once more if we drop to the downside from here. Basically going below the intraday low here, which is at 1407. Then it could be very well that we go to 1360. And then, to be honest, we are nearly in the green target area, nearly there. And this is the target area we have been waiting for. And in this area, the decision will be made if we are really in a bullish scenario for Ethereum or if all of this is just an impulse to the downside. We'll talk about that in a minute. Overall, if we see a bounce, resistance would be around the previous wave 4 high, around the 1485 level. Yeah, could go a bit higher. We can just measure here the fibs. We measure the retracement from the wave 3. And yeah, so resistance here basically in that region, the previous wave 4 high, always important. To be fair, it could go to around about 1540 in this wave 4, because a wave 4 can retrace to the 50% fib level, no problem. It would usually not do more. So, however, sort of in this region, let's say between the 23.6 and the 38.2% fib level, between 1465 and 1500 again, this is the area where we should see the wave 4, should we move up, but again, I can't rule out a further decline. Important is, and I know a lot of people try to trade every little wave. It's important that you don't, be aware of your risk, manage your risk. Of course you can go long here in a downtrend, and we are in a downtrend. We are in a wave C that is an impulse to the downside. Anybody who wants to trade any wave here long needs to be aware this is much more risky. I had a comment earlier who basically complained that we went down because, I said before that we could have a bounce and then come down. In the end, I'm always warning of trading against the higher level trend. The higher level trend here is the wave C, which is down. So again, these are likely bounces that might happen. They don't have to happen. In a downtrend, in an impulse, the corrections to the upside, and that is the key. Corrections, they are just correcting the higher level trend. So basically you're going down here in an impulse, and these moves down are much stronger. So there isn't a lot of profit in those moves to the upside. There isn't, not in a wave C, not in a downtrend. So always be aware if you go long, for example, and you're going against the level trend, it's higher risk. Same if you short, for example, a corrective wave to the downside, there's also higher risk. Ideally, at least I try to trade the impulses. But yeah, this is where we are. There are various ways of how this can be counted, to be fair. This is only one way. And again, I would expect this to get into the region here between 1130 and 1330. I'll show you a couple of other possibilities in a minute. Just want to talk just once more here about the high level wave pattern, where we say, okay, high likelihood this was an impulse, and we're now coming down in an ABC pattern to the downside. Could also be a WXY, doesn't make a great difference. In a WXY we might end up a little bit lower, but yeah, I mean, this is where we now see the decision. So what I cannot do, what happened here with that green box? It's massive. No, but what I cannot promise you is that this area will hold. Yeah, 1130 to 1330, that is for me, or has been, the area where we get into with the highest likelihood in this wave 2. Yeah, and we talked about that area since we've been up here, and even since we've moved up. Yeah, I always talked about that upcoming wave 2 correction. Can I promise you that we're going to hold this? No. What I can tell you is that the market needs to turn around, ideally above 1130, but definitely above $1,000 to maintain an overall bullish scenario. So that allows you to calculate your risk. Of course, now the lower, let's say you want to buy, the lower you buy, or the closer you buy to this potential turning point, the less risky and the higher the reward, of course. The target for the next wave to the upside, and that would be a wave 3. Let's say we get down to 1130. I mean, we'd be looking at here the $3,000 level for this wave 3, yeah? So 100x from, 100x would be, would be 2x from here, 100%, okay? Possible if we go down a bit lower, yeah? So I expect the reversal here, of course, can't promise it. There is never certainty in financial markets. If you look for certainty, this is basically a recipe for failure. Yeah, I just say that to make very much clear that this here is not a channel where I try to promise you things. You know, this is serious and professional TA, where we need to understand that there are no certainties. Yeah, there are no certainties. I know a lot of people are looking for certainties. There are none. But what you need to understand is what needs to happen to maintain, for example, the bullish scenario, and what are the key pivot points. So again, just want to finish off this video, just show you a couple of other counts here that are possible. So I take the fibs out, and then here I put that in another color and show you a couple of other counts so that you can sort of understand the possibilities. And you know, I always think I confuse people with that, but I get so many positive comments that you like to see the different possibilities in the market. So yeah, so one possibility is, yeah, another possibility here that this was a 1, this a 2, but that the 3 is still ongoing. I mean, this could come down to around about 1200. That's what I meant. I can't rule out that this will go down lower. 1360 certainly, but it could go all the way down to 1200. Then a bounce and a move down would take us to the lower end. Then we have another another possibility that we basically had here a wave, let me just think, a wave 1, that we're now going to see a wave 2 to the upside, and then come down in a 3, 4, 5. That's possible as well. And let me think, is there something different possible? It is, you know, you need to understand different possibilities here on this chart, but they basically, you know, unless we really go above this, what did I say, $1,500 level, yeah? Unless we really go above this level, it's all pointing to the downside, really. It's all pointing to the downside. Yeah, I mean, the only other possibility I have here is that, again, in a higher level WXY pattern, where we don't count this ABC, but WXY, we could say that this here was a wave A, 5-wave move, or even countable as 3-wave move, but I'd rather count it as 5-wave move, and that we then move up next in a wave B and would come down as C. So in that scenario, we can still see a little bit of a, let's say, a more substantial move up. That would be a corrective move up. Again, here I wouldn't trade this. I mean, if anybody bought something here, you can of course take profits along the way, but this is again a wave B going against the high level trend. A wave B is super unpredictable anyway. So yeah, I would stay away. And again, I said it many times, I'm going to go in quite aggressively down here if I see that here is a potential for a reversal. Yeah, and that's my update about Ethereum. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button. leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.